Tim Szczerba and Tom Wojdyla, and we're going to interview Mr. Orlindo Ferlo on November 22nd, 2002.
Alright, now we got it, I think.
Yeah, you're fine. Ready?
Go ahead.
Mr. Ferlo, when were you born?
May 19, 1921.
Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941. What were you thinking and where were you doing?
On that day, I was an employee of General Cable Corporation, working as a lathe operator, making dies for wire drawing.
Did it affect your decision to join the armed forces at the time?
It did. I did want to get in quite badly, but I had a critical job, and I was delayed for a while. However, there were already 5 of my brothers in the service. I'm sorry, 4 of my brothers.
Interesting. So what branch of service did you end up joining in to?
Infantry. I took basic at Camp Croft, South Carolina.
So you enlisted in the Army?
No, I was drafted.
You were drafted?
Yes, sir.
Interesting. How long did you end up serving in the Army?
2 years.
What was your final rank in the Army? Did you?
My final link?
What your rank?
Oh, rank.
What
It was corporal.
Corporal. What was your unit?
80th Division, 317th Regiment. Company G, if you want it all.
What theater did you serve in?
ETO, European Theater of Operations.
And you trained for the Army in Camp Croft?
I took basic at Camp Croft, South Carolina.
Right.
That was basic training.
Any people you met there that pertain to the rest of your life or experiences
Oh,
at basic
Camp
training?
Croft? Well, frankly, I don't recall any. I did go in with some people from Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to name them?
Oh, you don't have to. Just
I did. I went to Camp Croft with 2 other Romans.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about your experiences there? Or?
Well, it was quite a grind. Up early in the morning, you probably had heard how basic training is. Up early in the morning, go through rigorous training.
I bet.
All kinds of training, rifle, working in mud, digging foxholes.
Did you receive any specialized training or just like a normal soldier?
General infantry training. Spec number 745.
When you were in basic training, did you realize what you were getting into?
Well, and yes, I did.
Well, where and when did you arrive in Europe?
I arrived in Europe in September of 1944, and we went to Southampton, England, and within 2 days from Southampton, we moved over to France, and we went in on Omaha Beach, which was already taken by the Allies.
How many days was that after Omaha Beach? Was it taken? How many days after it was taken did you come? Or weeks or months?
Well, June was D-Day,
Mm-hmm.
and
So that was
I
long.
arrived there about September 20th time frame. So it was pretty well taken. I did see a lot of the after effects of beach landing.
So what was the most interesting thing about Europe prior to your first encounter with the enemy? Anything you remember specifically about Europe?
Well, when I first got to France, it rained day and night for a little while. And we camped out on the tents, pump tents. And my first impression, we were out in the woods, actually. It was quite dismal, really. My first day.
When was your first encounter with the enemy, with the Germans?
The best one I could remember was a Patton camp, called Patton camp. I can't really spell it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we were taking that position, and it was not too big a skirmish, but it was a small battle, and we did take the town.
How did you do that? How did you?
Well, as I recall, it was quite a while ago now, 57 years ago. We went in under artillery bombardment from our own friendly fire, overhead support fire, and we started to search out homes for the enemy. It was more or less urban type fighting. That was my baptism of fight, of war.
Was your first encounter?
My first encounter, yes.
Any lasting effects from that battle?
Well, we pushed on. I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
I didn't have time.
And that's how it goes. In your transcript, you said you heard one of General George Patton's speeches. And what was that like?
A very emphatic and gung-ho type speech. Get him and knock the hell out of him. And this happened during a lull in our fighting through southern France. Well, really it was middle France. And we had a little lull. This was just prior to the break-in, when the Balts broke up north in the Ardennes.
How does this speech affect you personally? Did it really motivate you and get you ready to fight? Or?
Well, when General Patton spoke, you generally got motivated.
That.
If you didn't, you didn't know why. Of course, he brandishes two silver-handled revolvers on either side. He was in full dress regalia.
How did the men around you act after he spoke? Were they just as fired up as
Oh
you?
yes, they were, frankly, we're all fired up. We're anxious to get out there and get rid of the enemy.
So you did take place in the Battle of the Balch River, correct?
Oh yes, sir.
And tell us some experiences about that then, if you don't mind.
Well, the Bulge, if I can remember correctly, on December 18th of 1944, General Bradley, who was in Luxembourg, gave a call to General Patton. And that's when we were down on rest, to rush up some troops, and practically all of the 80th Division and government trucks went up to Luxembourg. And that same day, it was about 130 miles away, I believe, something on that order. I may be wrong in my distances.
Mm-hmm.
And we went up, and then our mission, the 80th Division mission, was to watch and guard Luxembourg City. As a matter of fact, I think I made a note of that. Well, shall we tell that later?
Oh, you can tell it now if you want. Encourage it.
Let me take a little look. I'm glad I made a note of that. Can I repeat what I just said?
Mm-hmm.
December 18th, 1944, General Bradley called General Patton, 80th Division commander, while we were on our push through southern France during the lull. The Germans had begun a counter-offensive in the northern front through the Ardennes, which is a major offensive commonly known as the Bulge. That's what it was called. Our division was ordered to quickly move north, the mission being to protect the city of Luxembourg from the rapidly advancing German army columns.
Your mission succeeded, right?
Pardon?
Did your mission succeed?
Well, obviously,
Yes,
we won the
sir.
war.
Yes, sir.
But I have a pencil. I just found. Of course, you'll edit this, right? So some of this will be taken out.
if you want.
No, I mean, these interruptions like in between time, it doesn't count.
Oh, sure.
It's up to you people. Okay, Tim.
Anything else?
Well, while we were in Luxembourg in December of that year, the 80th Division stood on the west side of the Our River, O-U-R, at Hydroshai, Luxembourg. Our regiment, the 317th Regiment, crossed the Our River in assault boats in pre-dawn hours. Very little opposition during the crossing into Wallendorf, Germany, occurred.
Very interesting.
Now we continue.
Oh, yes, please.
That was in December 1944. If I could go back a little bit. In October, November, our regiment took the high ground near Fabersville, France, during our push through the Saar region, en route to Saint-Vaux and Metz. This was prior to the Bulge. After digging in to hold our position, the Germans mounted a counterattack with tanks and infantry troops. I was horrified, and my heart skipped a couple of thousand beats as I was looking straight down the barrel of an 88 oncoming tank. Luckily for me and whoever was with me, the tank crew was aiming at a target beyond us. So it veered right in front of our foxhole, going foxholes, one around and on. That was really scary, my really first scary moment. I never before I took down a barrel by 88 gun, you know. I'm not joking either.
Quite an experience right there.
That's only one of them.
You just keep that.
Allow me to relate some of the things that you ever hear of screaming minis?
No, I never had.
Well, I first experienced screaming minis, which is the technical term is German Naval wafers. Naval, N-E-V-E-L. N-E-V-E-L, W-E-R-F-E-R-S. I first experienced these during the latter part of December 1944. These were German shells which were fired out over us on our front lines. And they really made us very, very nervous and anxious. They were randomly shot and just landed wherever behind our lines. Another little factor that I like to take note of, what we call bedtime shotting. Now these were fuel-fed aerial bombs, sometimes called buzz bombs, which had a loud buzzing sound as they came over our lines. And again, they landed randomly behind our lines. They made too many. One experience, finally, after January of 1945, the skies cleared and our Allied forces came to light with our Air Force coming in to do some bombing, which led or initiated what we call the rat race to the Rhine River, Germany. This occurred between January and March. One of the occasions that I had, my brother Guido, G-U-I-D-O, who was with the 16th Mechanized Cavalry under General Patton, and I were in the same town, Mainz, Germany, M-A-I-N-Z, Mainz, Germany. They're in the same battle, but we're unaware of each other's presence. And the 16th Mechanized Unit was given us artillery overhead support fire during the 80th Division crossing the Rhine River. Later, my brother and I had perished in that every time. That's about the end of the war. This was about June, July 1944. Another interesting little occurrence, which was written up in the Stars and Stripes. Are you familiar with the Stars and Stripes there?
Would you care to explain what that?
Sure. I was accepting the surrender of a German soldier who waited while the American forces were building a bridge so we could cross over. As soon as the little bridge was built, he came over and surrendered to me, the first American he had seen. So in the story. So I motioned him back. I was not apprehensive because who knows what's going to happen. It was really the front lines. Well, is that anything you want to talk about now?
Yeah, when you crossed you're in the battle with Mainz, Germany there, and you said you got wounded. How did that
Oh, yes. Well, let me give you a little prelude to that. First of all, we crossed the Rhine River on the west side of Mainz, Mainz on the Rhine, we call it. About maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. And we got a terrific assault fire from their FPL, they call it, Final Protective Line. It's a setup, Final Protective Line setup where the soldiers are defending their position. And our boats had to cross. We had assault boats, rubber assault boats. We crossed inside of, crossfire machine gun, center lane fire coming at you, and dropping mortar shells in the designated areas or areas which were, here and there. And that was about the third or fourth boat up front. Fortunately, I wasn't that far up because I got into the center lane of fire. You can see the tracer bullets coming to my right and to my left. And we got inside the cone where they shoot the crossfire from the machine gun. Of course, the mortar was dropping all around us. And we hit the other side at the beach. And in the process of taking the town of Wiesbaden, finally, I figured Wiesbaden. I was wounded by a combination of shrapnel and handgun fire. They left their handgun guns at us, along with the mortar. I don't see how I came back. Tell you the truth. I'm talking along with many others who were in the same boat and I wasn't alone, of course. Well, those are the extra things that I wanted to talk about besides what I had done. There were many more. I can go on talking for days on some of the events.
Feel free to if you want.
Well, I can't say that now.
Any man from your unit that you still talk to, or you still in contact with?
I'm in contact with Mr. Redbanner, who lives in Ithaca, who has one of the 80th Division units now. And I've lost contact with many others. I had a couple of my buddies who were wounded with me. I lost contact with them. One was from Texas. One was from Buffalo. I don't know where they are. Many of us never got back.
So, your leadership over there, how do you think that was, with the exception of General George had in his speeches?
I gotta say that I had very good leadership. I like to blow myself up a little bit. I was put into status sergeant, but I had charge of a squad. You see, I was on front lines for almost 6 months before I was wounded. So I know all the ins and outs of assault squad. And I was put in for it, but apparently I was wounded just as soon as that happened.
So who knows
I don't know what that happened.
Did you realize the importance and the magnitude of the battle at the time? When you're fighting mines?
Sir. We were with our backs to the wall during the blows for a little while until it finally broke. Our main job, the 80th Division, was took French in high school in RFA. Mrs. Clark taught French. I don't know if you recall her. It was before your time.
I take Spanish anyways.
My son teaches Spanish. And anyway, the French people as a whole were excellent. Like same as we are. We stayed at their houses when we could.
Mm-hmm.
If we had some urban fighting to do, we usually were billeted. Otherwise, we spent our time out in the field living as best we could in foxholes.
I guess that's it. Do you have anything else you want to say about any experiences that we might have missed, or
I can go on all day, Tim.
you got a couple more? We got some more time if you want.
I can think of one. There was a little humor sometimes out there.
So that'll be good.
I didn't write much down, to tell you the truth.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
I'm speaking from the top of my head.
We got a lot of great information already, so if you want to throw in the towel, it's fine.
Well, maybe I should have this time. It was quite an experience, of course. I'm very lucky to be back home. That's
Great. Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Ferlo. Appreciate it.
Thank you.